So hey guys, Magnus Robert here, and before I do my top 10 worst levels on Tapped Out, I have decided to do, I actually promised this quite a while ago, but I'm going to be doing my things they can add into Krustyland idea video if you want. Now, it's just because people are like, some people say, there's nothing else they can add into Krustyland, and that's the reason we don't get any updates. But there is a lot of stuff, and the stuff I'm going to list is not all of it. There is much more, but I'm going to try and list at least what I found. I'm going to list the building, like the rides or buildings first, and then I'll list the characters they can add. So the first one is Krusty's Futuristic Rotin Totin BBQ. So, I mean, it's on the map picture now. Obviously, all the rides from Krustyland are all based off this map that was released. I think it was on I'm not too sure yet, but it was. But they are. So most of them have never actually been in an episode of the Springfield. Some of them have. But this one looks really cool. It's on the map. It's next to the Tooth Chipper, and it does look really, really cool. So they could definitely add that. I think that would make a decent addition. The next ride that we have is the barrel roll. Now the barrel roll is just like a barrel, and I guess you just go inside of it. It's in the background in the Duff Gardens, I think, but I'm not too sure if it was in the Duff Gardens or what. Not entirely sure, but the barrel, yeah, it looks like a really good ride. It would be a really fun ride to have, and I have actually not watched the episode, so I don't know, but that was something someone posted on the for the Krusty Idea page forum that was put up, which you can find online, which I've got most of my ideas from. The next thing they can add is Blockoland. They could add just like one big Blockoland, make it quite big, and then just have some rides inside, and then it's all one big ride, but there's rides inside the ride, if you know what I mean. It's just like a Blockoland section of the Krustyland. Or they can do a whole, they can have like loads of different rides in Blocko, sorry, not Lego, in Blocko, and then just have it like that. I mean, either way, they can do it pretty decently. I wouldn't mind, but that would make a really good level update, or a really good little addition to Krustyland. I mean, they could just update it randomly. I wouldn't be too bothered. The next thing we got is this giant beer thing. There is a beer fountain, but this is like a giant beer expedition, whatever. That would make a decent, because there is the Duff Pavilion, so we do have a lot of different things. I'm pretty sure this was definitely in Duff Gardens though, so they may want to add it. I don't know. They can add it however. The next thing is H2O Whoa, or Woa, or whatever the hell it is. It's just a big ride close to Mount Splashmore. So it's just a big slide, a big water slide, and it looks really cool. And I honestly think, again, it will make a really, really good addition. I think that's definitely, because it's something unique to add to Krustyland. And yeah, the next thing we have is in the background of obviously the Itchy and Scratchy promotional is Itchy and Scratchy's ice cream. And I just want to quickly mention, seeing as we're doing it, they could also add the Itchy and Scratchy ice cream would just be like just a normal building. They could also add the robots Itchy and Scratchy, and they can add the walking axe and the robot, the robot axe and the robot bomb as well, as just like background, as just like things that just wander around plus Krustyland. Or they can make them so they can go into the actual Springfield. I'd prefer it if they had tasks as well, really. But I mean, they could just be things that characters to just wander around Krustyland, seeing as they're robots, I suppose. But whatever. Next we have the Itchy and Scratchy Land, the big sign, basically. This is what I mean, the big sign for it, because they've already added some of the Krustyland, Itchy and Scratchy Land things to Krustyland, so they may as well just add the big sign as well. I think that would be really cool. Or so people could make like an Itchy and Scratchy section of Krustyland, just devoted to Itchy and Scratchy. Or they could add, you also put this picture here just so they can add more rides, because I haven't found all the pictures. I can't find all the pictures for everything, but there definitely is more rides in Itchy and Scratchy Land. I haven't watched the episode over, so I wouldn't know, but yeah, I mean, if they look at that episode, there was loads of things they can add in, definitely. The next thing is Land. They can add the ride. They could just add this big totem pole thing, or they can add if there was any rides in this. I'm not too sure. Again, I haven't watched this episode, or I don't remember it very well. They could add different rides from the Land thing, or they could just add the big Land thing, whatever. It would be cool enough. Next is Madame Manjula's the future looker alta or alta, whatever. It's just a big fortune thing. This would allow Manjula to come to Krustyland, which would be cool. And maybe it could unlock with. I mean, maybe it could also unlock with some like all the octopus, whatever you call them, her 8 kids basically. You could maybe add all 8 of her kids as like, I don't know, non-playable or playable characters. That'd be really cool. Even if they counted as one big character and it just said the octopuklets, whatever the hell it is. That would be cool. I want them to add his kids in and just have them as like a one big character and just a bunch of babies crawling along. That would be really cool. But they need to add his children in. So yeah, that's that. Next we have Mount Splashmore itself. This is just the mountain bit. Obviously, again, it's just a big water slide that goes down a mountain. That would be it's gonna be really cool. That'd be like just amazing. The next thing we have is it's in the background in the intro. There's a toy factory. First of all, they could add that, the toy shop and toy factory. The next is the nurse's station. That would be really cool to add into Krustyland. And finally, the Penny Arcade. Again, that would be really cool. I know they're just background buildings and no one's actually gone into them, but most of the things in Krustyland are just background things. Really, they're not proper things, so it doesn't really make much difference. The next thing we have is Plaster Mountain Theme Park. Again, there's loads of different rides in this, and it's obviously in front of this big mountain. Now, for example, if you can see the sit and rotate there, the sit and rotate is actually from this theme park. So the sit and rotate would more likely it would just be the mountain, but just if they added the mountain on its own, it would be pretty cool to add. Or they could just add it so like some of the rides that are in Plaster Mountain theme park, they can add them in. I don't know. But yeah, they just need to add some cool things from that. The next thing we have is Poochie's Half Pipe. Again, this is on the map. You can see it's just a skate thing. A skate park with just like bleachers there so people can watch it, and this would allow this would allow Poochie to actually be added as a proper character, or it could be the mascot, but I would prefer it if it was Poochie's an actual Poochie character, and I'll get onto that in a minute. What do we have next? Next we have Praiseland. Now Praiseland, again, this would be really cool to add in because it would allow Mod's Ghosts to come. I don't know if she is in Spring. I don't think she's in the Krustyland yet. And Rod and Todd could come as well, obviously. I'm not too sure though if they're in it. Yeah, I know Flanders is in it, but I don't know about those 3. But if they're not, it would allow them to come into allow them to come into Krustyland as well. And again, it would be a really cool thing. It's kind of religious ride-y thing. And also, it would they could make a really good storyline with Mod's character. The next thing we have is Scratchy's Cat Antuga Spew, whatever the hell that is. It's just a big train. It'd be cool. A little like train track. Maybe they can make it so it's individual tracks, or they just make it so it's already built for you and you just place it down as a building. Either way would be really cool. I would prefer it though if it was tracks and you could make it go around your Krustyland. I think that'd be really cool. And again, they could add Scratchy as an actual character. So the next one we have is this was actually on the poster when they released the poster for Krustyland, as you saw at the start of the video probably, is the big Krustyland poster. You saw the octopus kind of like spitting out, like going out, and they put it on the poster, but they never actually added it to the thing, which is the Sea Captain's Queasy Time Lagoon ride. And basically it's just a big, I think it's just a boat that goes around, right? What is a lagoon? I'm not even too sure. Oh, okay, whatever. It's just a big lake with an octopus in it. That would be amazing. A bit of water in Krustyland never hurts. Maybe you can make it so you build the lake, but I would doubt you probably would. But even if it was just a building on its own, that would be so cool. Just to have this big octopusy kind of ride. Yeah, and I think that would make a really good addition, and I hope they do add that in the future. The next one we have is I'm not even too sure what this is called. I think it's the I don't know. It's a ride that basically isn't complete. um, you know, it's kind of like a joke kind of thing, isn't it? It's like a joke ride. So yeah, they should add that as well. So I just found out it's called the Whiplash. Just to know, I wasn't too sure what it was called. I didn't note it down. Silly me. So next we have on our list is in terms of things they can add is the TGI McScratchy's Good Time Foodie Drinky. This is actually a restaurant in Springfield, but they could add it into Krustyland instead. I mean, why not? I mean, I don't see the problem with that, because it allows another cool like restaurant-y, building-y thing to add in. That isn't a ride. So yeah, the next thing is the Ticket Bomb booth. This is where you buy tickets. Now this would be really good. It's like it earns. I don't know. They can make something with it. So like maybe you could generate cash, or you could buy tickets with your cash. Instead of that, what I didn't like in the Krustyland update is the fact that you could trade your tickets for cash, but you couldn't trade your cash for tickets. And I know it allows you to build up, because if you just had loads and loads of cash from all your buildings, you just get tickets too quickly. But they could do something else with this. I mean, it could be something where you could sell your tickets, or maybe get cheaper tickets. I don't know. Maybe you could have deals, or deals like the guild deals, but like a Ticket Bomb booth deals, or it could just be just another thing they add in. It could have the guy in it. I mean, they could just include the guy in it, because the character's not exactly like he's a big character, so they could just add, because he's just a background character, so just add the background character in the thing, as not as actually as a character, but just as an animation. So yeah, they could add that. That'd be cool. The next, it was actually in my videos ages ago, and I apologize, the picture is not very clear, but it's the Tilton stew. I had to actually take this as a screenshot on my video, on my old Krustyland idea video, because there's no picture of this anymore for some reason. I couldn't find it on Google Images. It's just a Ferris wheel, but it's a horrible looking Ferris wheel. So yeah, that definitely would be cool. And the final thing is actually a big thing, really, is the Duff Gardens. Now, I'm a bit debated whether or not this should be added into actual Krustyland. I feel like it should be added into Springfield, really, as just one big, amazing, building in our Springfield. However, some people want it to be added into Krustyland. Now, what I would say, just to split those people in half, is why not allow it to be added into both? Why not have the choice to add it into Krustyland or Springfield? You can add it into whatever you want. However, I do feel like if they're going to add it, it's probably going to be in Krustyland. I'm not going to be too bothered, really. I just hope that they add the goddamn 7 Duffs with it. So let's go through all the characters they can add. Some of them are kind of backgroundy ones, and the problem is, again, Krustyland is something that Tapped Out has invented. At least I feel like it is. It's again, it was a thing in real life. It was a thing in Universal Land in like real life. It was never actually an episode where they went to this place called Krustyland. At least I don't think so. I never remember an episode. There again, I don't watch the later one, so there may have been one, but I don't think it was. And at least some of the stuff, there's some stuff from like other places, and there's some stuff from Itchy and Scratchy Land, and there's some stuff from the Krustyland map. Krustyland is just a big fairground that was created by Tapped Out, and they do say that in the dialogue. So they can be inventive with this. They can be creative. They can make background characters stand out all of a sudden. So let's go through it. First of all is Poochie. Now, Poochie, I really want to be added as an actual, proper, playable character that you can, has tasks and goes into Springfield. Not the shitty, crappy little mascot that walks around. I hate that. I hate it. If it went into Springfield, I may have been a bit better with it. I may have been a bit more, okay, it's alright thing with it. But the fact it doesn't go into Springfield, it just annoys me. The next one is Brown Nosed Bear. Now, this is one that can be a mascot if you want, or I would prefer it to be playable. It literally was on a sheet of paper. Again, like I said, they need to be inventive with these levels. They need to be creative with Krustyland things. So why not add something that was just a character mentioned and make him stand out? Why not? Be creative with it. This is what I like about it. We're like what Tapped Out opens up. The next thing is Disgruntled Goat. Again, this was just a toy on a shelf. But they can make a mascot, they can make it playable, they can make a playable mascot, or they can make the actual character come to life. Either way, they can make it, and it'd be really cool to see. I definitely think the Disgruntled Goat and the other two like cuddly toys that are on the shelves, I do remember them. You know, they stuck in my head. So why not? So the next one would be the Ku Klux Klan, as in, like, you know, it's a little play on the KKK name, but as in the Ku Klux Klan, but clam instead of clan. But I like it. It's fun. It's funny. Definitely rememberable. So why not add it as a mascot or character? I would just like it to have tasks. That's all I want. Especially these ones, just because it's Krustyland. You don't get much with it anyway. The next thing is Uncle Ant. Again, they could I definitely want this one to have character tasks, because it'd be really funny to have around, walking around, or as a mascot or as a character, like I say. Yeah. The next character is Anne Dubinsky. Now, I'm pretty sure this was Krusty's girlfriend / manager, so it makes a lot of sense to add her in, because she's really heavily, you know, the reason that she's a big character is because of Krusty, and, you know, she's Krusty's manager and she's Krusty's lover, so it makes perfect sense to add her into Krustyland. They can just add her with anything, like they added Princess Penelope with something random. They can add her with whatever. They can just add her with the Tilton Sprue or the Krusty's Fruitin' Rootin' Tootin' BBQ if they want, or anything really. I don't mind. They just need to add her in. The next thing is Barbara Van Horn. Now I do believe that Barbara Van Horn is in fact one of the relatives of Krusty. She actually is Sideshow Mel's wife, I think. Let me just double check for you guys. Yeah, Barbara. Yeah, Sideshow Mel's wife. So, you know, she'd make sense to add as well, because, you know, she's Sideshow Mel's family. So yeah, they need to add her in as well. I think that would make a perfect character. Again, she's the background character they can turn into a bigger character. The next one I actually have mentioned before is the Clown Doctor. Again, this guy always comes as like a background character on the Krusty the Clown show. He doesn't actually have a name; he's just called the Clown Doctor. But he'd make a funny character. They could make some like the French waiter. They can make some funny tasks with him. So I'd like them to add him as well. The next one, this is probably the biggest two characters they should add, is Cooter and Spud. Because Cooter and Spud and any like rides that were in that episode as well, they can add, or Cooter and Spud like stall, they can add that as well. But I'm pretty sure that was added because it was the hoop throwing thing. Cooter and Spud are just two characters they need to add, because they are carnies and it just makes so much sense, and they need to also come into Springfield. Okay, that's the other thing I want, is if they don't come to Springfield, I will be super pissed. I'd be super pissed. But if they come into Springfield and Krustyland, it'll be brilliant. They'd make two definitely, and they could make a really good level or a really good update out of it. The next one is Corporal Punishment. Again, another Krusty the Clown show guy. Really cool, really tough looking. He'd be really fun to add, and they could get some really cool tasks with him. I've wanted to add him for a while. The next is Dinner Dog. Again, another one they can just recreate. It was just on a poster, but hey ho, they can do something with it, I guess. It'd be alright. I think they could. Again, they're very creative, so they can do something with it. The next is it's a flat UN Fox or something like that. I think he just like stinks, right? Something like that. Another poster one, but they can do something with it, I guess. So yep. The next is Tina Ballerina, another big character they could add. She's not huge, but she's biggish. She's been in a lot of episodes in the background, and she's had just like little lines, but yeah, they could definitely add her with a building, and it'd make a lot of sense because she's part of the Krusty the Clown show, and they can make some fun tasks. The next is Holly Hippie. This was again Krusty's girl, another one of Krusty's lovers. I think it was his fiance. Again, they can just throw her in with any old ride and just add her as a Krustyland character who can go into Springfield as well, like Princess Penelope. The next one is Hyman Krustoscoffy, another huge character they need to add in, but they haven't yet. Now, I prefer them to add him with the synagogue. You know, presumably that that makes more sense than had him with the synagogue in Springfield. But they could also add him in Krustyland. I'd prefer if he was added into Springfield, but they could always add him into Krustyland as well. I wouldn't be too bothered. I've mentioned the robot ones, but the robot Itchy and Scratchy, and the axe and the bomb as well. But they could add the actual Itchy and Scratchy playable characters in as well. It'd be really cool to actually properly add them as actual characters that have tasks and go into Springfield. The next is Josh. This is Mel's stepson, Sideshow Mel's stepson, and he's the one who beats up Homer. And he's kind of a funny character. He was more of a background one, but there was a few funny things with him. They could have added him in with anything really, and just say, I don't know, he was getting a discount with Sideshow Mel. They can be creative with it. Yeah. The next is the little bearded woman. She was at Krusty's funeral when he faked his own death. She was also apparently she's a member of the Krusty the Clown show. So there you go. She'd be funny if like a funny task. Definitely an unusual character. And again, taking a background character and making them into something a bit bigger. So the next 7 big characters, or at least my opinion, is all 7 Duffs. So it's edgy, remorseful, dizzy, tipsy, slurly, queasy, and sleazy. All 7 of them, and I want them all to have tasks and all to be individual characters, not just like one big 7 Duffs characters. They need to add them like the 7 Dwarfs and add them as individual characters. If they don't, I will be very annoyed. So yeah. And they could add them into Springfield or Krustyland, but presumably Krustyland, because that makes sense. The next thing is Sideshow Luke Perry, which is Krusty's cousin. I think, I'm not too sure. Luke Perry actually is a celebrity, but they could do it. They did it with George Washington. They did it with Richard Nixon. I know that they are deceased, real people. They did it with Matt Groening, but then again, it's different because he's the show. I mean, as long as Luke Perry was okay with it, I don't know, like in terms of like legal grounds, if they can do that. I'm not entirely sure, but that'd be a really fun character to add in as well. It makes some funny tasks with him, and they could have him in his normal appearance or his like sideshow appearance with the bone in his hair. I prefer it if they had the sideshow appearance, really. The next one is Sideshow Raheem. A really funny character. I remember him in that episode, so. Yeah, they could add him with any ride really. He'd make a pretty funny quest line, I think. The next is Sideshow Mel's son, or Sideshow Mel Jr. Not really a big character, but he's just a background character. But nevertheless, they could add him. Moving on, we're getting to the last 2 now. So we have Sophie, which is Krusty's daughter. Again, this makes a lot of sense to add her in with a ride, seeing as she's Krusty's daughter. Anyone really related around Krusty, people who are part of his show, characters in Itchy and Scratchy themselves, his family. They make a lot of sense to add them, the family of people in his show, like Sideshow Mel, for example. Sophie makes a lot of sense to me to add in with Krustyland. And finally is another like one that's just on a page, but it's Rich Uncle Skeleton. He looks really cool. That'd be really cool to have wandering around. I think that'd be fun. So anyway, guys, there is a lot more. That's not everything, but that's at least all the big things I think they should add. Any other things I haven't mentioned, I just couldn't find in the time I had. I did want to get this video out this week, so I just had to just go with what I had. Most of these are from the TSOT tips. I'm pretty sure it's from. It's from TSOTpicks.me website. I'll leave a link to the Krustyland extension idea page in the it's a guest post, but I'll leave it in the description for you to go look at. And they go into I kind of covered most of what they said, but you can go click on what they have as well, and pretty much the same ideas. But yeah, that's it. That's pretty much all of it. I'm trying to think what else. Most of these also were from my older ideas videos. Most people haven't watched them. I wouldn't recommend watching them really, because most of the things that I did have been added in the game. One thing I do want to add is I had an idea for Freddie Quimby. I was looking back on them, and I have an idea for Freddie Quimby, and I said that they should have probably had the what's her name, Princess Kashmir, whatever, the stripper, add her in as well, and then they actually got added in. I think I mentioned that, but I think that was really funny. And they nearly got added with the same. They didn't get added with the same buildings and shit, but whatever. So yeah, I shall next week, or sometime later this week, I will be doing my top 10 worst level ideas, and I'll also have a top 10 event ideas later on as well. So anyway guys, thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you next video. Goodbye.